The next item is our general consent calendar. At this time, board members, is there any items you wish to have pulled? If so, will you please raise your hand and I'll recognize you and we'll address those items. Board member Earl. You have your hand up?
Yes, I would like items number 2 and 3 pulled.
2 and 3.
Yes.
Contract agreement for approval and then data sharing agreement request.
Yes.
Those are both actionable items. Okay. Any other items, board members? If not, I'm seeking a motion. Vice Chair Brittany Cummins.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Okay.
I second that, Board Member Marsh.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion to the motion. I'm not seeing any hands. The motion for the board is to approve the consent calendar with items number 2 and 3 removed. All those in favor, please vote. Board member Lear. I don't know if you can, there we go. Vice Chair Cummins, do you see it how I do? The voting's unanimous?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. And the board member Earl, let's go to item number 2, contract agreements for approval. You have questions or comments?
Sorry, I'm on mute speaking. I apologize. I had a question under the multidimensional. So this is under 2. It's multidimensional software creations. And on page 16, I'm just wondering, it talks about parents can opt out of the data sharing on, let me get down to 16 again, sorry.
So
this is probably a question for maybe Whitney.
Whitney, or can you see Jeff, any staff raising their hand to comment on that? I'm scrolling through this.
I'm just wondering if there's any reason why this can't be so on A, under A, number 1, each child parent or guardian has an opportunity to opt out of the child's information being sent to the part B of the system. Is there any reason why this can't be an opt-in? Parents seem to be more engaged when they have to actually read something and opt into it, as well as staff that are providing this, or whoever is providing this have deeper knowledge. So I'm just wondering if that could be an opt-in instead of an opt-out.
Okay, so the first question is someone from staff, I'm not seeing a hand, or do they want to weigh in and introduce themselves to address that question?
Hi, this is Whitney Phillips.
Hey, Whitney.
Hi, I'm Whitney Phillips, Chief Privacy Officer. Let me trying to turn on my video. I'm not sure if I can, but I think Zach Christensen should be able to answer that question a bit more than I am. So I'm hoping that Zach is able to answer that.
Okay. Is Zach available?
Yes, Chair Huntsman,
Okay.
I am on.
All right, Zach.
I believe with this one, the Teddy program, this is an, let me just pull it up. I had it and moved it over. And I believe that give me just 1 second to refresh myself on this one.
One thing that's while you're doing this, board members, if we get into these different things and you know that question way in advance of this meeting, it's then we can give staff
Okay.
a lot sooner heads up to get down into the weeds. But
Yes. Looking at the scope of work, the Baby Watch Early Intervention Program is actually run by the Utah Department of Health. And I believe that the transition from the early intervention data input system, that was a system that we have worked with the Utah Department of Health on. And this software, or this contract, is for Multidimensional Software Creations to continue to maintain that system and provide different enhancements for that. As far
So
as
Zach,
yes,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, follow up.
As far as the opt-in, I'm not sure if that is part of our system or if that's part of the Department of Health system, that option. I can get more information from special ed. It looks like this is part of their system, and I can get that information and follow up.
So Zach, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just wondering if we can check and see if that can be an opt-in in place of an opt-out, and that's the only question I had. So, and that we can move this forward if you can check on that. So
I will check on that. Yes.
okay, thank you.
Your addition, I think you said, remember earlier you had a couple questions on this, or just one?
Just one. The other one was on item number 3.
Chair,
Okay.
Leah Voorhees has her hands up. She may be able to help with the question that was
Okay.
just asked.
Well, please dive in.
Hey, Chair, this is Leah Voorhees, Assistant Superintendent of Student Support. Thank you. So this particular contract, this is to be able to share the information from the Part C system, which is called BTOTS. And that's Part C is the federal system for providing early intervention to students with disabilities. Well, actually, they're children with disabilities, ages 0 to 3. And then by the time they are 3 years old, the team has to meet, have an IEP, and determine if they're also eligible for Part B, which is what we provide, the preschool through age 22 services. So that consent is actually given in a meeting with the parents, and parents give consent to send that information from Part C, which is early intervention, to Part B, which is us. So there's a transition meeting that happens about 4 months, 3 months before the student turns 3. And it's a very official, just like an IEP meeting where that happens. So hopefully that clarifies.
All right. So
Thank you, Leah.
Is there any other questions regarding all of the items that we pulled number 2, the contract agreements for approval off of our consent calendars? Any other questions? If not, I'm looking for a hand. Just see if a board member wanted to make a motion to approve the general consent calendar number 2 contracts agreement for approval. Vice Chair Cummins?
I move that we approve item 2 on the general consent calendar. Contracts agreements for approval.
Is there a second?
Board Member Thorpe. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Thorpe. Any further discussion? I'm not seeing any hands, so let's vote. The motion before the board is to approve the general consent calendar item number 2, contracts and agreements for approval. All those in favor, please vote. It appears the voting is complete. It was not unanimous. They're all yays with one exception, and that is Board Member Bolter. So the motion passes. Is that how you see it, Vice Chair Cummins?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Earl, do you want to speak to the general consent calendar item number 3, please?
Yes. This was just maybe a little bit of a question on this. So this particular contract was to expire in August, and we're extending it to include more of online digital learning. I'm just trying to clarify that. So will it continue? I guess what I'm asking is, will it continue the full contract of the original work, or is it just the new work that's going to be worked on that they've added as an amendment? And then my second question is, if someone could just remind me how all this is funded through West Ed, I would appreciate that.
Hi, this is Whitney Phillips.
I'm looking for a hand from staff. My screen's, you see a hand up, Vice Chair Cummins?
No, but I thought I heard Whitney Phillips.
Okay. Whitney Phillips, can you speak to this or
Yes.
Zach?
Whitney Phillips, Chief Privacy Officer. There are 2 data sharing agreement requests, and the one that was just mentioned was with West Ed. And the amendment to this was requested by West Ed. And the amendment is essentially to look at plans at the LEA level and the state level on district remote learning plans that are already publicly available. The cost to this is nothing. This is just of interest of what they're looking at across various states in their area. I believe that consists of California, Colorado, Nevada. I could be wrong, but a number of states in their region. And it does extend the entire agreement 2 years to August 2020 in order for them to accomplish the study.
Thank you. That answered my question.
Okay. Board Member Earl, did you have any other questions on item number 3?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Vice Chair Brittany Cummins?
I move that we approve item 3 on the consent calendar data sharing agreements requests.
Okay, do we have a second?
Jenny Gravett, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion to the motion. Board Member Lear, do you have your hand up for discussion, or is that from a previous vote? I have not seen any discussion.
I just vote.
Okay. So the motion before the board, we're going to vote on this. The motion before the board is that the board approve item number 3 on the general consent calendar data sharing agreement request. All those in favor, please vote. It appears the voting is unanimous. So the motion passes. That concludes our consent calendar items.